What's up, guys? It's your boy, Coach Anthony. We're outside the Champs Gym, and this is the first of many podcasts that we're going to do, the Coach Anthony Boxing Podcast. We're going to cover boxing. We're going to cover boxing techniques, current events, MMA, everything, man. We're going to talk about everything that we just like to talk about. We're going to keep it raw and uncut. This is the first one of many. I got Fast Eddie Chambers on this, and I got my man Bill Bird the Barbarian, a.k.a. Bill Bird Billy. That's my boy. So I just want you guys to just be part of this journey with us. And I just want to say thank you very much for tuning into it. And let's go. Boxing life.
So I wanted to ask you, pose the question, like, the defense of Anthony Joshua, the look, it just looked too convenient for this guy. And, you know, we're all outward appearance people, we're humans, for the amount of punishment he took. Because I personally saw him take more harder shots with Vladimir Klitschko. Now, could this possibly be the future to delay Deontay Wilder talk? You don't have to fight right now because they'll have to worry about Ruiz rematch. He could come back and destroy Ruiz in the O2 arena where he's a god. You know, it's too convenient. Everything is a storyline. Like, I'm a big reality TV fan. The highest level be any different in certain instances. You know, in the 50s, 60s, it was run by the mob. You went down when they told you to go down.
Well, now
there's bigger mobs in the world.
Yeah, it's a little different though. Now they don't rig the fighters; they rig the judges. It's just that difference because you can't control but so much. And nowadays things are a certain way, and you're viewed a certain way. Everything is can be seen. You know what I'm saying? There's so much. The internet's everywhere. You know what I mean? So no matter what you're doing, what you say, how you do it, if you perform, you know, everyone to a degree sees it.
Right.
They may not see it at the moment it happens, but they end up seeing it. So, like you were like, with your question, which I know is like, is this really scripted? Is Anthony Joshua really, you know, like did he really
go down
lose
for the count? Like, yo, we'll get him on the back end, whip his ass, take all your belts, you're victorious. Then, the big black Nigerian king, look like the god, and then, you know,
but
it's a good narrative.
It is a good narrative, but
why would it be any different in the boxing world?
I don't know if he's that great an actor though.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think that's.
He was.
No. Did you see his legs? Did you see his legs? You can't fake that. It's kind of hard to fake that. I wouldn't want to look that stupid. I'm just gonna be real. And then losing to a guy. Everybody was talking about how bad he looks. And, he ain't really supposed to be in there. He's not this,
you don't
he's not
think that diminishes the Deontay Wilder fight?
Exactly. And that's
that
my
makes
next
that
thing.
fight like, I don't even want to see it no more. I know Deontay Wilder's going to beat his ass
because this is the thing.
Like,
but this is the mystique about all of it. We don't know. Because he still could beat Wilder, which now throws another monkey wrench into everything, which makes it interesting, but still makes it
because Wilder does have a suspect chin when he gets clipped too.
Of course.
But
and they all do. They're all vulnerable. They look that way.
But
except
I don't
for the
think.
Tyson
Listen, I was on the floor yesterday.
Exception to Tyson?
Because Tyson, to me, skill level surpasses them.
You said about his chin.
No, the thing about his chin is that when he gets dropped, and of course these guys get back up, but when he gets back up with, seems like a little bit better with purpose. I don't know, because Wilder hasn't been.
Didn't he get knocked down by what's his name?
Steve Cunningham?
Yeah.
And he got back up and stopped him. And I love Steve, and I think Steve did a great job. And there was some tactics that was used in the fight. There was a little bit
pushed him down.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but that's the name of the game, and Steve understood it. It's illegal. Things happen, but they both understand it. They're both competing.
He pushed him down.
Yeah. But
he hooked him.
But my thing is, he's been dropped other times and got up and won. He's been dropped twice in the Wilder fight, got up and should have won. And Wilder's supposed to be the destroyer. No pun intended where I do Ruiz thing. But he's supposed to be the dude that when he touches you on the chin, your head explodes almost. And he got up like the Undertaker. You know what I'm saying? And finished strong. So that's what I'm saying. His vulnerability doesn't look as bad as them. Plus, he has a skill level a couple steps above.
He might have the chin that they got, but he makes the adjustments skill-wise. These guys seem like like Anthony Joshua didn't make no adjustments yesterday. He kept making the same foolish mistakes, and he did the same thing against Vladimir Klitschko. You know, so it's like you don't learn.
Why?
But this is what
why
I'm
does
saying.
it hurt it? All the greats have losses.
But that's right.
Not Floyd
Mayweather.
What was the fight he lost? He lost a couple.
Castillo and Luis Castillo.
And De La Hoya. He lost a couple.
I feel like he beat De La Hoya, but that's me.
I thought he beat Castillo too.
And see, he thought he beat Castillo. I thought Castillo may have beat him. De La Hoya, I thought he beat De La Hoya. But okay, that's whatever. and they were close fights all of them.
He beat De La Hoya.
I did. I felt like he
How did he
did.
beat
But
De La
listen,
Hoya?
but
De
listen,
La
but
Hoya's
listen.
that boy.
But look, no.
Put that work on him.
I mean, he did some good stuff in it, but no. When I'm looking at this whole, like you said, the whole thing with the conspiracy thing, it's like.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Finish.
No, it's just like like you said, it hurts him too much. It hurts the money too much.
It hurts
The money can always come back.
It can come back.
Eddie,
But okay,
Eddie,
let me ask you
I'm
this. One question.
All right.
If Floyd and Manny Pacquiao fought, everybody was salivating and hoping for it. It would have broke every record for the next 50 years. There would probably have been no way that anybody could have. Remember that Larry Holmes and Jerry Cooney at the time? Because with the racial thing and all that, that was like, it took years for them to recreate something that was that big. And Pacquiao Mayweather thing was that big. They were building this Wilder and Anthony Joshua thing. Wilder got lucky in a sense that he didn't get that decision rendered against him. So okay, fine, we're good. We still got this piece. It's kind of alive right now. But then you got Anthony Joshua, which is the other piece. If he can keep beating guys and beating guys and beating guys.
Perfect Shakespearean narrative.
Right. And if they bring them together, it's the super fight of the century.
And it's going to happen.
No.
He's going to
no.
be Andy. I'll predict the future.
It's not going to be. It'll be a
future,
but it won't be as big.
No, it will be as big.
No, it won't.
Because in the fashion he will kill Andy Ruiz. I'll predict the future on camera right now. Listen to Billy the Barbarian. I know the future. He's going to beat the shit out of Andy Ruiz.
And that may happen. Maybe.
He's going to get all of his belts back and be victorious. Then he's going to fight, because Wilder's fighting Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz might even win. He might even win. They might have it in the script.
How about that?
Also, the thing we're not taking into account.
They might have it in the script.
He might
just not genuinely win the fight.
Right.
It's scripted.
He didn't almost win the first.
Secret society, all he asks is trust. But listen, we're not even taking into account. Do you know how much money moved last night worldwide?
Oh, of course. I'm
1,400 to 1. So if you would have bet $100, you'd have won $1,400 on Andy Ruiz winning.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me 100 million can't be thrown around
no.
here? Like,
I feel like the betting people got a little something with betting underdog. But what I'm saying is, we talk about the grand scale, we talk about everything, and we talk about how it's moving. If you want that mega fight to be at its highest, at the peak level that it could possibly be, 2 undefeated guys are worth more than a guy with. Yes, it is. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. No, yes, it is.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Listen, when I say undefeated, I'm talking about like Pacquiao. He had those 2 losses. Remember, he had those 2 losses early, and he lost with Marquez and all that. But all that stuff was forgiven, right? Because at this point, he had dominated whoever he was in the ring with up to a certain point. Floyd was undefeated. At that point, that was the peak of time where, that fight was going to be. It was going to explode everything. It was the same thing with Joshua and Wilder. But now that Joshua was lost, and not only did he lose, he got stopped, and he got stopped by somebody that he's a fat guy, he's not really worth it. I don't know how he got it. He's the worst heavyweight champion. I can't believe you would look. You know what I'm saying? It just diminishes his star power.
Can I ask your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith? Did you see what Stephen A. Smith said? So Stephen A. Smith basically said something along the lines of Anthony Joshua should be disgraced. He lost to a butterbean.
You see what I'm talking about?
Now,
you see that?
what are your thoughts on someone like Stephen A. Smith, who to me never sounds super educated when he talks about boxing?
Right.
He seems like he's just
basketball.
He's just guessing.
Yeah. Well, he's a basketball.
Saying
guy.
Something like that about Andy Ruiz.
He's not a butterbean.
No. He's not. You know why?
As a journalist and being on ESPN and knowing
Stephen A. should be disgraced that you lost to Andy Ruiz. You know.
The only disgracefulness for this whole thing is the people outside the ring. Both of those guys step in the ring. They both deserve equal amount of respect. First of all, Andy Ruiz, they didn't know this. Maybe some people didn't know this because they're casuals. The casuals didn't know it. Now, I don't even know if Stephen A. Smith knew it unless he looked at it on a piece of paper. But he fought Joseph Parker, who also fought Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua won a decision, but had a tough time with him.
With Joseph Parker?
With Joseph Parker, he had some issues. I mean, Joseph Parker was landing some shots.
I thought he
and it was
got
a decision. No, it was a decision. And
it was a decision.
He beat him. No, he beat him. Like, he controlled the fight. But what I'm saying is there was a lot of stuff. Joseph Parker did some things to show some flaws in there, and he got to him a bit. And then Anthony Joshua started boxing at range.
Right.
He did some
Joseph
good
Parker's
stuff.
top 5 in the world.
Exactly.
You can't.
And Andy Ruiz, a lot of people thought Andy Ruiz won the fight against Joseph Parker. when they fought. So if you're looking at Andy Ruiz and trying to say, man, he ain't really that dude, it's like, yo, he just fought this dude that Andy Joshua fought and struggled a little bit with, and really should have beat him. So really, and his style too. But Andy Ruiz's style's a little different. That's what's the difference. We talked about Anthony. Yeah, exactly. And we talked about for Anthony Joshua.
No, but not just styles. He's his pedigree itself.
Yeah.
If you're educated, if you know the game, you know that Andy Ruiz was a legitimate contender.
But no. Let me also.
That's the point.
But also,
a lot of
it's
people
Andy
didn't know.
Ruiz's fault. He's not known. You can't get mad at the casuals. You can't get mad at the journalists because we didn't know. We know people right now who didn't watch his fights.
Okay,
it's his fault.
Okay, let me. You know who Ernie Shavers is? Do you know who Ernie Shavers? Listen,
you're in charge of your PR.
No, but listen. You know who Ernie Shavers is? There wasn't no internet back then. It wasn't that much TV. But boxing, the sport of boxing, was bigger. Ernie Shavers was popular. He was a champion at one
radio.
point.
You had limited media.
It don't even matter. But what I'm saying, it's still limited. Like you said, it's limited.
Yeah. I remember my grandma used to tell me they used to pull all their family and listen to the radio.
Right.
There was nothing else to do.
Right, but I'm saying all of these guys, when we talk about, they even some of the top 5, top 10, even top 30 through the top 30, some of these guys were known and people were talking about them till this day. You understand what I'm saying? And there was no internet back then.
World.
No, I get it. And I get that. There's so many more sports now that are super popular. I get it. Yeah. But what I am saying is it's not his fault, really.
It is.
It's not.
He's never given media interviews when he doesn't have a fight. We've seen limited. It's your fault.
It's not.
Your life is in your hands. If you're just a nice, sweet guy,
okay, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If you pay attention, listen. If you pay attention to basketball, go ahead.
What were you trying to tell me?
Well, I was going to read the quote to you. The exact quote. It was, oh my God, I can't believe this shit. Anthony Joshua, holder of 3 belts, gets TKO'd by Butterbean. I mean, a dude named Andy Ruiz Jr., what a disgrace.
There you go.
You see what I'm talking about?
He's coming from a black point of view. Everything's race. No. You might classify it as stupid.
It is very stupid.
A lot of people
it's very
have
uneducated.
that. No.
And I got respect for Stephen A.
It's a racial thing. People look up to Anthony Joshua.
I don't care.
He looks like a Greek god. So you put your faith in him.
I have very little interest in what people think of him as how he looks. If it's all based on looks, then like Ant just said, like we always say, the heavyweight champion of the world will be a bodybuilder with the best body in the world.
It was until yesterday.
Exactly.
It was until yesterday.
Exactly,
so
because guess who he had in front of him?
But
guess who he had in front of him? He had the Pillsbury Doughboy in front of him, like everybody said. And the Pillsbury Doughboy beat the Greek Adonis.
Okay.
It's
for
over.
Now,
yeah, but
we'll
why? The disagreement I have is why say you should be ashamed of
you
yourself?
Should never be ashamed of yourself.
You lost to a world-class.
He's a sensational journalist. That's his style. He does it to everybody. He does it to Brian. You're a basketball lover. That's his style.
No, and I get it. And I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him.
But that's how he talks.
For his
Who comes at Shaq?
You know what I mean?
Who comes at Shaq?
It just shows that he just.
I'm not going at Shaq.
It just shows that he doesn't do his research before he talks.
No, he does. It's his
There's
sensational.
no way he did.
He might not know your level. He knows boxing to an extent.
Yeah,
but
he knows boxing just like.
Sensational.
But he knows boxing. He knows about boxing just as much as I know about basketball. You understand what I'm saying?
You know a lot about basketball.
Exactly, but I know it from watching. I play it, and but I haven't competed at the level that he has as a basketball player, and a lot of these other professionals have it. So my opinion. And me calling out, he shouldn't have cut here, or he shouldn't have made this read here. I can't quite say.
There's people on their couch who are kings of the NFL and will tell you a play breakdown. They've never played it down.
And
you do not have to have a high pedigree to have information and knowledge.
That is 100%.
It has nothing to do with any.
But it does play to IQ if you have to have been in there. Because I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to tell you right. No, I'm going to tell you 100%. Angelo Dundee, I'm talking about if he would have got in there and actually threw punches. You mean to tell me that Angelo Dundee, I don't give a damn at what level, at what age he was. Angelo Dundee, if he never fought before because his IQ, he thought what he knew. When you get in there and you got punches coming at you, your IQ's different.
No, it's a different. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying you don't have to have it in every case.
No.
Look at Danny's dad.
No, not in every case. But what I'm saying with Stephen A. Smith, he's speaking from an ignorant position. Because he has never.
Ignorant?
No, listen what I'm trying to tell you. You can't, in boxing, maybe in basketball, but in boxing, you can't look at a body until what's going to happen in the fight. It's just not
let me
possible.
tell you the difference
That's
between
a natural human thing.
let me tell you the difference between an Angelo Dundee and a Stephen A. Smith. A guy like Angelo Dundee, early in his coaching career, might have made a bunch of mistakes, like overtraining a guy, letting a kid spar too often, make you do all these mistakes.
Yes.
As he got to the Muhammad Ali's and those guys, he already fine-tuned his coaching.
Right.
He learned
Stephen
on the
A.
job.
Smith is clearly a novice boxing fan because he doesn't know at any, like, he is still in the beginning stages.
Right.
And he is on a platform where he's speaking as an expert.
Right.
So that's the problem.
That's what makes it look
If
bad.
you are
That's what
going
makes-
to
you know
be
what I
on
mean?
a platform where you are now being listened to millions of people in the world, you shouldn't be talking about something that you have novice knowledge on.
Minimal information.
Minimal. You
But
should
we
be
live in-
only speaking as an
No,
expert
I don't
on
know
what
about
you're
that.
an expert
you
on now.
speak whatever
You-
your
but
producers
then now-
tell you to speak on. He has no control over that.
Yeah, but he
if
can
your
speak on it,
producer
but you
tells
have
you
the-
to speak
but you
on
have-
it,
that's
you have
the
to speak on
problem.
it.
But I
They
agree
should
with
bring in Max Kellerman only to speak on that, or
Some
somebody
people
who
don't
really.
think, some people don't like Max Kellerman's point of view 100%.
But at
too.
least
I
it's
personally
educated.
do.
But at least
I
it's
personally
educated.
do.
There's,
It could
there's a
be-
certain
you-
level of education.
So,
but I
what's
think
his
Max
name?
Kellerman got crucified for saying something about and maybe not looking so bad because Kawhi is doing so great. To change, shifts gears a little bit in basketball. But he was saying that Kawhi's a more clutch player than Kobe was, which is a little ridiculous when you think about it. Because Kobe, how many clutch shots that
these
man
last
made?
2 months, sir.
But
these last
right,
2
but
months,
but
sir,
listen to what I'm saying.
That was
But
the
hold up.
greatest shot I ever seen in my life,
But
and I lost bread on that
that's
shot.
but that's what I'm saying. So as bad as that thing was at the time, it looks a little bit better now because this dude's actually balling.
That
like
dude's a killer.
But
A
but
killer.
you still can't
Baby
put
Jordan.
but you still can't put his
For the
body
longevity.
Bird,
But
hold up. Just like what Stephen A. said, you still can't put his body of work against a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan.
You can for
Yes.
these 2 months.
No,
You
you
can't.
absolutely
Remember
cannot.
Kawhi
You absolutely cannot do it.
Doesn't Kawhi have doesn't Kawhi have another
He
championship?
does.
So
But he
you
had
can.
he had
It's in the
Duncan,
argument.
he had Duncan,
And that's his
Ginobili.
preference.
Even though he got the MVP, he still had a solid
Doesn't
nucleus
matter.
around
It
him.
doesn't matter. Kobe had a solid. You had the greatest center of all time.
I
with
get
you.
what you're saying, but what I'm trying to say is
You
we're talking
can-
about
you can
we're talking
put
about
anybody in
we're
a box.
talking about.
I-
I'm not saying Kawhi won't get there. I'm just saying you can't say he's better than him yet. He has to do it
he can be in the
over.
argument.
He has
He
to
can
be
be in the
consistent.
argument.
It's just like
He
what
can be
it's
in
just
the
like
argument.
Stephen A. Smith said that.
He's been doing it for the
hold
last
on.
7
Stephen
years.
A.
Kobe better than Jordan?
He's more.
Hell
I
no.
think skill for skill, he might be a
No.
little bit. No, hold. Listen.
Stephen A. Smith, please give us a
Oh,
call. We need
shift
your
gears a
expert
little bit
advice
because
on
we're
this.
going back to
He's the expert on
the main
that.
point. We're going
He's
back
about to be
listen,
blasphemous.
No, hold up. Skill for skill, like certain things. He modeled his career after Jordan. He did a lot of things skill-wise after Jordan and everything, but he took it to a slightly different level. His footwork, I haven't seen, and I'm really a McGrady guy. Like, I was a super big fan of Tracy McGrady. That was my favorite player probably all the time. But as far as body of work and just like being that dog, which Kobe was too, I still think Jordan got a little step on him on that. But as far as the skill thing, Kobe was that dude.
Kobe's good. He's not.
No.
Jordan,
No,
need to bring up.
listen. When you
Clutch
talk about
Jordan.
Jordan in the '80s, he was jumping over everybody. When I say jumping over everybody, he was just dunking on everything.
And just because earlier you said something which I thought was like strange, and now everyone's first take on Andy Ruiz is, wow, what a not an unbelievable upset, it's what a fat loser.
Yeah, exactly.
He is a fat loser to the world.
Hold
You
on,
are in
stop.
charge of your
We gotta
image.
cut it out.
You are in charge
cut
of your image.
We gotta.
You
No,
are
no,
in
man.
charge of your image
Okay,
and your being.
I get what you're saying.
There's no more to
But
it.
once again, how you gonna be a loser? You can't say the word
I'm
loser.
talking from the American audience point of
American,
view. He's not a loser.
South
He's not
American,
a loser. Sorry.
the most
African,
obese country
I
in
don't
the
give a
world.
damn what you
I'm
say.
sorry, I
You're
called
speaking
him a
from the most
loser.
obese
I'm
country
sorry,
in
I
the
called
world.
him a loser.
We are the most
No,
judgmental.
but it's not even about the whole loser statement as much as people are looking at him as a loser because of how his body looks.
People are the most biased demographic, and it's cool to do it. So why is he the exception to the rule?
No,
and he's fat.
You know why he's the
he has
exception?
titties.
You know why he's the exception to the rule? Because of what he just did.
But
Look at what he just
now,
did.
good.
That
See
proves
in 3
that
months.
proves
We'll
that just
see
because
in 3 months.
No, but
it doesn't mean
look, no
to
matter
take
what
away
happens,
from his body.
no.
To take away from his body and
Absolutely.
his look, what people
Absolutely.
judge you. If
Absolutely.
you walked out there right now, if we all walked out there,
I guarantee
like,
you
yo,
this.
they got titties. Why
You'll
are they doing
think
this?
twice right now about walking up to a dude who got titties you might think he could fight.
I'm not thinking about anything. I don't have to.
I just saw Andy Ruiz knock out the Greek Adonis from the UK. Oh man, or the African warrior, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. He's a big. He's just a fat sloppy
And boxing's
dude.
a
Just busted
metaphor.
his ass.
Boxing's a
Ooh.
metaphor for life, though.
Yeah,
You know that, man. You never judge a book by its cover, man.
Listen,
That's like
there's
you
no-
walking in a
this ain't
room
no
full of
cookie cutter
white
thing.
people, but you're the black guy, and they
Yeah.
automatically assume you're uneducated or
Exactly.
you're ghetto or this or that.
Exactly.
No disrespect to white people, but if you're being judged due to color,
Yeah.
now how does that make you feel?
I don't
It's the
control
same- it's the-
I don't control
it's the
Exactly,
same
word.
thing.
But
It's
you
the
control
same
your body
thing.
and your image. If Stephen A. Smith sees a fat tard or fat whatever, that's his choice. That's
It's
what
true.
the world sees.
It's true, but it's still
so
ignorance.
You can't get.
It's
It's not
still- yes, it
ignorance.
is ignorance,
You're viewing
man.
your viewpoint.
No,
you can't
you
get
can say-
mad
you
how
can say
people
freedom
view
of speech.
them.
You can say whatever you want.
You can't get mad how people
I'm
view
not
them.
mad at how they're viewed.
You're mad at how
No.
people view his body.
But-
so
but-
get him in shape. That's up to him.
but that's the
That's
thing.
up to his
He
diet.
is in shape.
No, he is. I hear what you're saying,
You know
but
what I'm saying?
the aesthetic of it.
Look,
People judge him for being fat.
Yeah,
It is what
exactly.
it is.
And I
if you
understand
want to
that.
save the world, make all fat people slim. What are you trying to rework the wheel?
No, that's not
Hold
what we're
on,
talking about.
listen, we
But
can
that's
get
not
it.
what
This
we're
could
talking about.
You're
lead
getting
into
mad
another
because
hour. This can lead into another hour because some people have a condition.
Yo, it's,
I don't. That's their
Some
condition.
people have a
It
condition.
has nothing to do.
It's
how
like a
Stephen
depressed
Smith,
person.
A person
It's like a
in
depressed
Florida,
person.
Now
It's
we're
like a
going
de-
to the
it's
10th
like a-
level.
it's
There
like-
could be root causes of anything.
Okay. So
there
you
could
don't
be
know
root
his-
causes.
you don't know
I don't
his
need
life.
to know anything about his life.
But bro-
That's on you if you're a fan.
right,
I
right.
have the. You have the ability.
I understand what you're saying. I see what
You
you're
have the
saying.
ability, and I have the ability.
Right.
If you want to, that's on you.
Okay.
But you only view the outward appearance.
Right.
We are physical, visual people.
But let's overlook that for a second because of what just happened.
Good.
That's my point.
Kudos.
But that's my
Kudos.
point.
No,
You can't-
I've already given them props. I don't
Right.
have to.
No,
I don't
I'm
have
not
to
saying
continue
you. I'm
giving
talking about
props.
Stephen A. Smith. He,
But
instead
Stephen-
of giving, no, what I'm saying, the problem wasn't when I speak of ignorance, is because instead of saying how great of a situation that was for him and how amazing him being the first ever Mexican heavyweight champion
think
of the world.
Stephen A.
Hold up.
Smith
He
cares.
didn't, but hold up. He didn't give him that credit. Instead of saying that, he says, "Oh, Joshua should be ashamed of himself. This is a disgrace. What is he lost to what do you call him again? The Pillsbury. I said the Pillsbury. He called him Butterbean. And to be quite honest,
Yeah, I mean, not
Butterbean actually beat a couple guys' asses too.
Yeah,
was
Butterbean will.
great.
Okay.
Butterbean will wipe the floor with Stephen A. Smith.
No disrespect
You know
to
what I'm
Stephen A.
saying?
Smith, 'cause this is not
And
his
he
lane.
actually won a couple.
This is
He
not his
actually
lane.
won a couple
Wipe
MMA
the floor
fights.
with
But this is what
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
the heavyweights.
So when you say these things, you have to somewhat, to a degree, understand what you are saying. That's what I'm not. I'm not discrediting him as a journalist. I'm not discrediting him as a boxing aficionado, which I really don't think he is because he's not really into it like that.
No,
but
he could
what
be-
I'm saying, but no, I'm not discrediting
Call
him.
him
Period.
out.
As a journalist, all I'm saying.
Call him out.
I ain't
Like
calling
Stephen
him.
A.
What the hell
Smith,
am I calling-
you
I ain't-
suck dick. Like,
No,
call
I'm
him
not
out.
calling
If you
because
don't
that
agree
ain't
with
what this
he
is
said,
about, though, dog.
it-
Hold up, that's not what this is
I
about.
don't-
I'm just saying he made.
We are
an
calling him out.
inaccurate-
What is this whole? What are we doing right
Right.
now?
We're
You gotta pick a side,
let's
Eddie.
say
It's
we
a
got
war,
an
Eddie. You
opinion.
gotta pick a side.
Listen, we got an opinion on what he said, and the
You
way.
guys thought it was ignorant. He thought it was foul. Roll with it.
Yes, I am
Listen,
rolling with it.
there's
with
no
it.
doubt that Stephen A. Smith obviously did something right to get the position
Of
he is.
course.
But that particular comment, and actually not
It's
just
an
that
ignorant
particular
statement.
comment, I've heard him make other comments on boxing
It's
that I can't
ridiculous.
remember right now. That as he's saying it, I'm saying this guy obviously doesn't know the game.
Exactly.
And my
like
thing
Roger
is,
Mayweather.
but
A
my
lot of
thing
people
is
don't know
his
shit about boxing.
voice is respected by the casual.
Exactly.
So it's like leading the
Exactly.
casuals astray.
Oh.
Instead of leading them to the right stuff,
Perfect
you're
example.
making these guys feel that.
Speaking of calling people out, not to cut you off, my
Yeah.
bad. But there was a situation, and I'm gonna bring myself into it just for this brief moment, right? There was a time where I was top, but at the time I think I was top 2 or 3 in the world, right? I might have been behind Povetkin at that point before I won the fight with Alexander Dimitrenko. I had just beat Samuel Peter on ESPN too, and I beat him. I really probably beat him almost every round, but there was a couple rounds thrown in. I think I even got a majority decision, to be honest, which was a little ridiculous. But they had to make the score look better. But that's neither here nor there. They showed a graphic on the screen. You know how when a fight's happening or whatever, and I think Chris Arreola was fighting. and it was me, Alexander Dimitrenko, Alexander Povetkin. I think Malik Scott was up there at the time. I'm not sure if Tony was up there, Tony Thompson, and Areola. I think they had him up there. We were all up there as like the upcoming guys. And I remember they said something about Areola. Big up Areola. Big up everybody. They didn't even speak on Malik, I don't think. Talked about Dimitrenko. They talked about Povetkin. When they got to me, they said, "Oh, he's 34." This is no lie. Oh, he's 34-1 or 30. I think I was 34-1 at the time, but fights with an unexciting style. So immediately, now everybody's turned off. Don't watch him. Don't pay attention to what he's ever gonna do because he fights with an unexciting style. Right. Don't watch him. What Stephen A. Smith just did to this kid. The only difference. Hold up. But listen what I'm saying.
They gave a message.
No. But listen what I'm trying to tell you. This is on HBO. There's a lot of people hearing it. He has a platform where there's a lot of people that listen to him. It's like Joe Rogan's podcast or something. You know what I mean? Shout out to Joe Rogan for that. But listen, when you say something like that and you're respected, people say, "Oh man, hold up, I gotta hear that. Maybe I shouldn't even watch that dude." Andy Ruiz. The good thing for Andy Ruiz in this situation is that people saw it. He beat a god amongst men for the most part. He's like hit dude in the head with the stone. You know what I mean? Right. David versus Goliath. So
back to your situation. You heard that the message went out to 300 million households.
Right.
At the same time, back to what I was saying of an athlete controlling his destiny.
Right.
You could have got on multiple radio platforms. You could have did an interview and changed that narrative.
Which I've done, and I've always been very interview friendly. I've always been a person who could speak.
Did you give a response to that?
I never responded to that. You know why you don't respond to it? Because he has we're talking about Jim Lampley too. We're talking about Jim Lampley.
Concerned about the messaging.
And HBO. No. Huh?
You do if you're concerned about the messaging.
No, I get it. And I've responded to other ridiculous things about myself. And especially in the fight, in the time leading up to Klitschko too, there's another statement made by a former fighter.
A few times I heard Teddy Atlas say some negative things.
Exactly, but even his negative stuff wasn't.
Shout out Teddy Atlas.
But even Teddy Atlas's negatives. but listen, check it out. Even though Teddy Atlas's stuff was somewhat negative, it still was somewhat of a compliment in a certain way, because he was still saying it's not my skill or it's the excitement level of watching me. It's just some of the things that I don't do, things that I guess he feels that he can correct or help or what upsets him about fighters that are good or at a certain level. So the disrespect that I got from him wasn't as blatant as Jim Lampley, who, regardless of how many fights he's seen on TV, I don't think has the knowledge or my respect in a sense when it comes to the boxing thing. He's obviously a great writer. He's done his thing. He's been on HBO for years. He got more respect, more of a whack.
And not to cut you off, Eddie, but another thing to get back to the Stephen A. Smith thing is right. Yes. Let's just say that they get an immediate rematch, and let's just say Anthony Joshua wins. Now, Butterbean never gets the respect he deserves as a fighter. They're gonna look at him as a fluke.
Exactly.
Oh, that was a fluke. Ignoring the fact that he is a legitimate fighter who just doesn't have a body that is very attractive to look at.
What's the former coach of the Oakland Raiders, Al Davis?
Al Davis? Yeah, I think he was.
His famous quote was, "Just win." He just has to win.
Just win.
If he wins, he stays relevant. But if he doesn't, he goes and sits his ass down and goes eat some cheesesteaks.
And that's right, Bird. But what I'm saying is we're talking about people actually respecting his journey and respecting what he's done. Choice. It is their choice. But people who follow Stephen A. and Stephen A. has way more of a following than Andy Ruiz does right now. Because we know the Mexican Americans support
they're repping him.
I'm
repping him, and I'm not even repping him.
Hey, look, I'm not even Mexican.
I feel Mexican right now.
But at the same time, I'm happy for him. I'm not hating on Joshua. I feel bad for Anthony Joshua because of what his level was and where he was a superstar.
He'll get it back.
He probably will. He probably will get it back.
Remember, I know the future. He will get it back after
the Oracle. Rub your head. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Get that. Yeah.
After the summer,
I can see it in your head right now.
Knock him out.
You got a glass forehead. But no, but look, legitimately.
I mean, he can legitimately beat Andy Ruiz, but Andy Ruiz can beat him. They're just the type of people that they could beat each other.
Do you really think Anthony Joshua will fight him the same way?
Even if he didn't, man, that style's going to give him problems. Andy Ruiz is legitimate. Because what the problem is with Anthony Joshua, you can't make a person change who they are.
Yeah.
When he hurts you, he is going to try to finish you with good reason.
He's not going to turn from a
Maybe
damn zebra into a cheetah.
Give him that
You know what I'm
patience.
saying? He's
Maybe
what he
they'll
is
give
right
him
now. You know what I'm saying?
that patience.
I
Maybe
mean-
though that's another good point about a fighter. You remember how certain fighters were going through stuff a couple years ago and like they were losing. I'm not going to say any names. And you might need a coach change. We don't know who's coaching him. Maybe it's his amateur coach. Maybe he needs someone prime time.
But you know what? Don't get me wrong.
How many fights does Anthony Joshua has as a pro now? 20 something?
That was his 23rd, I think, or 20. I think it was 22nd or 23rd fight.
Olympian,
24.
Maybe his dad's coaching him.
Listen.
Olympian,
listen. Hold on.
24 pro fights in, world champion.
Listen.
I don't know how much it changed him.
There's a lot of guys that had changed trainers like they changed their draws. And each ones that were doing that all had problems.
Kolev
Exactly.
just took the belts back.
Now he got
beat
him back.
the ish out the boy
But-
with a new coach.
But check it out.
It can be done, Eddie.
But it can be done.
It can be done.
It can be done. But he changed trainers twice, and he didn't have success after the first time.
He's got it now.
And that can happen. Sometimes you need to just find
win,
somebody.
baby.
But
Just win.
sometimes
That's
it's
all you
not.
gotta do.
Sometimes it's not the coach, man. And a lot of times, I think most of the time, it's not the coach. Sometimes it's you.
Yeah, sure. That's
You
a
know what
good
I'm
point.
saying? Like,
That's a
take
good point.
ownership. Like, I don't change trainers like that. Like, I had my dad for as long as I did. And I could have had my dad always end of my career. And my success level may have been similar, but I do feel like there were certain things that my father did know, but didn't know. My dad was great. Probably one of the best ever at making you be able to do what he visualized in his head in a boxing ring, or not necessarily in a boxing ring, but stylistically, to learn how to throw punches, from your shoulders and turn your hips and all of those perfect movements and all that. I learned that from him. So I know for sure he can build you from the ground up into what you should be, as a fighter. But when it comes to planning in the ring, it was more motivational with him. You know what I mean? He could tell you throw this
need
combination. You need it.
You need that
But
fire.
you need, but
You
but
need
what
that-
do you need? What's more important than that? Instructions. If you get somebody in the corner, in a fight, and you struggling,
You need
to-
operable information.
Exactly. But you need information that's going to help you. And not an overabundance of it. You need things that are going to help you and put you in a certain position. You understand what I'm saying?
Got you.
So, as great as my dad was as a trainer in certain ways, there were things that he was lacking. And it's like with Ant. Ant's similar to my dad in the way that he could build you up, but he also has enough knowledge with boxing that he can also relay that information to a plan in the ring.
Who, this guy?
Yeah, this guy. This guy, sometimes. But no, then I got another guy, one of the best trainers that nobody talk about, James Ali Bashir.
Bashir.
One of the best, I won't say ever, that people don't really talk about at formulating a plan, telling you what to do, and do this real quick and see what this is. Oh, wait, do this, and we're going to go about it this way. Look at this video, watch Walcott do this, and then put it into your own terms, and we'll work on it in the gym. This dude was like a scientist with it. Another dude, Peter Fury, was another one that was really, really good like that. One of the best guys around at figuring things out and putting it in place for you. You know what I mean? It's just like, if I could, and I didn't change trainers. It was the situations at the time. I had to go in that direction. But trust me, the information. No, go ahead.
Let me ask you, how would you have Anthony Joshua fight Ruiz in the second fight?
First of all, like I was saying, like we were talking about in the keys, I would have him definitely, for whatever reason, stay on that back foot all night. Keep that Klitschko jab type thing in his face all night. Adjust the jab. Throw it in different ways. Keep taking that right step. And if he cuts it off, go left. Get him to follow you left. Cut back out and get that escape route to the right again. Stay away from the right hand. Keep your right hand up so he can't slide that left hook in there.
Right.
Keep him behind the jab.
Because I actually saw Andy Ruiz leaping at him.
Yeah, exactly.
If someone leaped at Wladimir Klitschko,
Vladimir.
I think he would get him out of there so quick. He was leaping at Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Leaping.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying about what Anthony Joshua was doing. Anthony Joshua wants to get in there and unload combinations at you. You understand what I'm saying? That's his downfall.
And 9 out of 10 times, he's pretty successful.
And he does great with it.
He wasn't last night, but
you're 6'6", and you fighting a 6'2" guy. You are now in a condensed space. Now you're just a big ass target. you have to understand where you got to know your role in boxing. The problem with a lot of these people is they don't understand their role in boxing, and they want to just say, "Well, I want to dominate any way I want," and I got that same issue too. And I was trying to do the same thing.
Is it ego-driven?
It's somewhat, it is to a degree, but it also can be used, as a plan, as a game plan. And I used it for years. I was like a little bully. I would literally, after I figured it out and I was able to understand what I needed to do defensively, I would walk everybody down. I would walk everybody down. Watch my fights. My hands were here, and they would miss. I'd be walking them down. They'd be going back.
The only thing Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, would have to do differently than he did in the last fight is, use his jab more and not get gun-ho every time he hurts you.
Basically,
if he lands those
eliminated
shots, like after he dropped Andy Ruiz, if he'd have just took his time, he'd have dropped him again. But he rushed in. And then after he noticed that, he still did it again, which to me just tells me, he's just an emotional fighter. And you have a lot of emotional fighters out there. Yeah. If he just learned to just stay patient. Do you remember when Diego Corrales fought
Floyd?
No, not Floyd. When Diego Corrales fought, I believe Castillo, he fought him twice.
Second,
the first time he fought Castillo, they dropped each other a bunch of times. And he ended up losing because
No.
Yeah,
Corrales
lost because he had they stopped it because he had the cut going through his
You mean the second fight?
That wasn't Castillo, that was Casamayor.
Casamayor,
So when he fought Casamayor, they had the cut that went through the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So they stopped the fight, right? Casamayor won, all right?
Yeah, I know what you're about to say.
And the trainer that was training Casamayor ended up switching and becoming Diego Corrales' trainer in the rematch.
Wow, that's crazy.
Who was it?
Right? He used to wear the flamingo shirt all the time. I forget his
Joe
name.
Goosen.
Joe
That
Goosen.
is right.
So Joe
Oh, snap.
Goosen
Yeah, I forgot about
was Casamayor's trainer.
could realize that.
No, he was a boxing. Yeah, Goosen and he
Dan
was.
Goosen's brother, Joe.
Yeah, Dan Goosen. Yeah, man. You were promoted
I knew
by
both of
Dan.
them. Yeah.
Weren't you promoted by Dan?
Yeah, by Dan, yeah.
So anyway,
I know both,
so then Joe Goosen went with Diego. Diego fought Casamayor in the rematch.
True, yeah.
And stood long. You never see Corrales fight long. He used to always walk guys down and get into the mix.
Yep.
He fought and he won a 12-round unanimous decision against a guy who exchanged knockdowns. They exchanged knockdowns because it was a blood and guts fight.
Yeah.
But Joe Goosen formulated a game plan, and Diego Corrales stuck to it.
Yep.
If Anthony Joshua can do that, he can easily beat what's his name? The champion of the world.
Can't even remember
Andy
Ruiz. Right? Yeah. He can easily beat Andy Ruiz because he was already on that course.
Yeah.
But can he stay? He reminds me almost of like a Zab Judah. Like, can he stay mentally focused for 12 rounds?
When the heat's on.
When the heat's on.
Right.
Anybody can be popping
when the lights come
when
on,
they're winning
yeah.
in the man, but what happens when you're down a little bit? Like, it's a testament of life.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, the style that Andy Ruiz has, it's like when you think about Joe Louis in the past, and like how did Joe Louis with those little shuffles get to the target? Well, it's the same thing with this guy, Andy Ruiz. It's not that he can't move, it's just that he's a little heavy, and he just has a different way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And Anthony Joshua doesn't really force him to have to make more than
He's a little awkward, too. That makes it a lot.
No, what's awkward about him? He has decent hand speed. Like good hand speed for especially somebody his size, and he's throwing multiple shots. And when we talked about and this is what I said, what I really think did it.
He's a big Canelo.
Right. Well, Canelo's defense is like, come on, and he wouldn't put himself into some of the positions that Andy Ruiz was in. And this is why I have even more respect for Andy Ruiz is that his head was up sometime, and he was getting hit with shots. If you in the middle of combinations and still coming back with 3s and 4s.
Wow, he's
and
a
I'm
true
like,
warrior.
You got to get. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Warrior.
So we talking about bombs from a 6'6" dude, 250 pounds.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So for him, if he could have done a few different little things, maybe defensively, like make him a little bit more, like made himself a little bit harder to find, like certain things that I wouldn't have done is throwing some of the shots that he thrown at the time he threw them. But maybe I wouldn't have been successful.
The problem with guys like Anthony Joshua, you know what I'm saying? I don't know his life, so I could be wrong, but I'm looking from the outside, and is he is glorified.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like for instance, I heard an interview where somebody interviewed him. I believe it was I forget. Radio Raheem interviewed him because I actually was at the red carpet, and I was doing interviews the week of the fight. And when he asked him a question, he says, Tyson Fury says that he's the legitimate heavyweight champion of the world because, what does he call himself? The lineal champion, because he beat the guy who was the reigning champion. He said Deontay Wilder feels that he's the real champion because he's knocking these guys out and he's defending. He says, what makes you feel that you're the champion over these guys? And when Anthony Joshua looked, he goes, I don't know. And I don't care. And he starts laughing. And it was kind of funny how he said it. Like, it just kind of showed that, I was just like, damn, but it just shows me that he's already so high gassed up in his mind by the people around him, the yes men and everybody who's glorifying him on the internet, that he lost that hunger somewhere already. And I guarantee you he wasn't as hungry going into this fight as
maybe this
else.
is his refocus.
Good.
Coach, as you were clearly an expert, this is your field, right? So this is like you examine even to that point where you observed that from Anthony Joshua. I noticed even before that, right? They were kind of talking about Anthony Joshua as like a paper champion. Does that kind of put this into that perspective, like as somebody who's viewed that before? And Deontay Wilder has similar things. I mean, he's the champion of the world too, so obviously he's gonna have very similar. He's gonna agree with that, try to get that fight. But where does that? Is there any credence to anything that they were saying?
Any what? He's a paper champion?
He's a paper champion, yeah.
No, I don't think he's a paper champion because he beat Klitschko.
Yeah.
So he's not a paper champion. Anthony Joshua was a legitimate champion. I think it was a toss-up between the three. I think that was the real toss-up.
Yeah.
Like, people really...
And he beat Povetkin.
Yeah, like, that was the real toss-up. Like, we weren't
Poveckin's a
sure.
killer.
And we're still not sure. But now Andy Ruiz is in the mix.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got Luis Ortiz, who's going to get another opportunity.
And you still got Joseph Parker too out there. He ain't.
Like the heavyweight division right now is still alive, and these guys all could fight. But the thing is, no, it wasn't. He's not a paper champion. Anthony Joshua's not a paper champion.
You know what it is? You know what the real problem is that people don't really understand with pro sports in general, man. When you look at, like, I don't even know the outcome of the game yet. Obviously, when I was talking about the basketball with Toronto and Golden State. When you're at a certain level, and we're talking about boxing, just sports in general. When you're at a certain level, at the highest level that you can possibly be at, you're only separated by small margins. You know what I mean? I think the greatest guys are the most consistent ones with how they work and how they're like super. Like, that's why I say Kobe to a skill level was just like, he's there. You know what I mean? Even with like Vladimir's another one who just, they are so tedious about every little thing, and that's the difference. That's the only thing. And then also the
Is it
styles.
because we live in an Instagram world?
I said, what do you mean?
Everything's so fast.
No. I
There's
mean,
kinks in the armor because we built this building. We got to get it up in 30 days. So it's not going to be as strong as someone who solidified and took 10 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, not really. I mean, that's my issue with Wilder a little bit is that, I'm not saying that he's not a legitimate, but there are a lot of things skill-wise that he has flaws with. But the eraser cleans all that up. Huh?
But he has the fist of
but
God.
He got, exactly.
He
But
punches
maybe there's
from
the devil out there somewhere, and he's
he
kind of like
punches-
throwing a monkey wrench in this thing.
Yeah, he
because-
punches from 6 feet away.
But that's what
his trajectory. It's physics.
Yeah, right.
That's why he's so good. Physics.
Maybe, but he still lacks. And this is what I was saying. When you're here, you're only separated. You're not even really separated. Sometimes it's just styles.
Right.
So when you get a guy like Andy Ruiz, who may look like a slob or whatever, the Pillsbury
We always got to go back to that.
No, but I'm
we just can't leave that
talking
alone.
about his
I'm just
body,
saying.
Eddie.
You know why I'm talking about his
Stop
body?
talking.
I'm
You're
drawing
starting to
attention.
sound like
dare you,
Stephen A.
Eddie?
Smith.
No, you know
How
why I'm
dare
talking,
you,
you know why I'm
Eddie?
talking about it? Because I'm like, yo,
Oh, my God.
you want to talk about how bad he looks, but you're not.
Respect that
listen,
man.
Listen, I am respecting.
Respect his body.
Listen.
Fat shaming him.
I'm not even looking at his body because I had to go through the same thing he went through. Probably not to the same degree, but I had to go through it somewhat. They was trying to take the S out your name and just leave the FAT in there. So or like David Hayes said, call him fast food Eddie, which I like that one actually. I was actually thinking about putting that on my jersey one time.
Yeah?
But my thing is that you're separated by such a small margin,
Right.
especially when we talk about skill, or maybe it's skill, but maybe it's athleticism, maybe it's a strategic plan or something.
Mental fortitude.
Maybe it's mental fortitude, right? There's a lot of, or maybe it's conditioning. You know what I mean? I'm just better conditioned than you. I'm willing to throw more punches. So you gotta find your little thing. And just because he looked like he did doesn't mean he wasn't better conditioned than Anthony Joshua.
I think you should double down. Like he even kind of embrace it a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah, I would, man. I would be wearing fat suits. I'd be making it look even crazier.
He should have mad food endorsements, Subways.
I'd be in McDonald's with a burger. I wouldn't eat it, but I'd be like,
Yeah, he needs to take advantage of it now.
yo, seriously.
That woman did the best thing. She's like, I noticed you had a Snickers for the fight. He's like, I was thankful for everything.
Honestly, he shouldn't even lose
Straight
the
up.
weight because when Fat Joe the rapper lost the weight, I don't get the same feel.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't get the same feel.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
like
Fat
they don't
Joe
like
fat.
they didn't like little Luther as much as they like Big Luther. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes.
All the way out.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, look, but even if he did, but then listen,
yeah, I
even
know,
if-
but like when I think of Fat Joe was to pull up like your
Yeah, well,
weight
he's
right
like,
now. I'd be like,
No, he's fat again, so.
oh, did he get his weight
Yeah,
back?
he
I
got
see.
fat again.
Yeah,
well, I
he's
mean,
Fat
you
Joe
know,
for a reason, bro.
That's you know, but look, that
We
I
need
mean,
fat people.
I guess you do. I
We
guess you do.
need
And
it.
Andy Ruiz gives a lot of people hope. Like you
There's
could be
more
the best
people
on the
look like
planet.
Andy Ruiz than look like Anthony Joshua in the world. So
Say it again.
there's more people look like Andy Ruiz than look like Anthony Joshua in the world.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
So,
and it's all
He
because
represents
of
the
habits.
population.
Even then, Andy Ruiz is 6'2". He's bigger than that person.
Yeah, he's my height. Maybe
I don't know.
he's actually an inch taller than me. Supposed if he's 6'2".
I don't.
So
Is he really? I
Oh
thought-
yeah, no, he's Eddie's height.
So 6'1". Because the
6'1",
difference between him and Joshua was like, that's the reason I didn't bet. When I saw that, I was like, yo, he's not
that's
winning.
falling for the hype, man.
Oh,
Okie
he's
doke.
not winning.
But that's what I'm saying.
But no, it put in my
You know how many people said
subconscious.
that to me about me when I was fighting Dimitrenko, and they didn't even really know him. He was over in Germany. When they saw it, like, oh hell no, he's getting out of here. That's what they said. Yo, look, I've been stopped once on one shot at the end of a fight that I didn't even see coming, and it was only, and I saw it, I knew it was coming, but I just got lazy for that one moment.
No, honestly, if you watched the fight, I watched it. You
I
put
knew
your
it was
hand
coming.
up the
I put my
block.
hand. No, that's what I'm saying. I knew it was
When
coming.
Klitschko threw
I
that
just
shot,
like
Eddie
this.
went like this, and the
To catch
freaking
it.
shot landed right
front,
there.
in the front.
shit.
So on one shot, that's just how it happens, man.
Sweet.
You know what I mean? But look, this whole situation, you know, with the Andrew Ruiz and his body and all that shit. I think, to me, it honestly, obviously, from what I've said 100 times, obviously doesn't really matter that much. It's the skill, it's the style, it's the.
I like that.
Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say let's wrap it up right there.
Oh, that's
What you were saying right there. It's the
Okay, let's do it.
It's
again.
about the skill.
He took his hand. I was like,
No,
about
we
the
ain't
Klitschko
gotta do it
yet.
again.
No,
It's
no,
like
no,
you
no.
said it. It's the skill. Boxing's about skill.
Yeah.
Boxing's about what you're willing to endure.
Yeah.
What are you willing to dish out? It's about your heart. It's about your chin. There's too many variables to go ahead and just judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And I think that should be what we sum this podcast up, man. Do not judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean?
And Andrew Ruiz represents that for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what Andy
So
Ruiz
yeah,
did. That he definitely did that. I think more and more as those type of things happen in the world, they're actually good. It humbles
Yeah.
people,
Huh.
and it kind of reminds people that you know everybody,
Especially
you know,
the barbarian over there.
Yeah,
you
the
know what I mean?
barbarian.
He got certain.
Yeah, man. So, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you check out the website, Coach Anthony Boxing. Check out the YouTube channel, Coach Anthony. My Instagram, Coach Anthony. Fast Eddie Chambers.
They got the S on it too. I don't.
That's your
forget that.
Instagram, right? Fast Eddie Chambers.
Yes, and there is an S, so it's not Fat Eddie Chambers anymore,
Yeah.
or fast food. 'cause
Once
don't see
you
food.
call somebody out.
And then we got Billy the Barbarian.
No. Don't call somebody out. You gotta
Andy
get.
Ruiz.
Listen,
Perfect person to call out is Andy Ruiz.
I mean, yeah, but everybody's in the world's
Yeah, he's
highest
got to
mountain
worry
is gonna
about
call out
Joshua.
Anthony Ruiz.
Call out a couple people.
Listen, you know what I'm gonna say is, look, I'm open for business with this boxing thing. I'm out here training, and I just want to get back in there. I want to get the opportunity to fight the best guys in the world. I'm not
Anthony
saying,
Joshua,
I'm not
you might
saying-
need a tune-up fight. There
I'm
you go,
your guy.
another guy
I'm your
before
guy.
you fight Andy Ruiz.
I'm your guy.
You got Fast Eddie Chambers. We still remember the messages you sent in the private message. We still remember that. Maybe we should bring that up, but we still remember the messages you sent. We're not even gonna go match you right now because I know you're going through a hard time. But this is a good guy for you to
Hard
bounce
weekend,
back.
sir.
Yeah,
Drink some tea.
I know you wanted to fight Eddie at one point. You can fight him now as a bounce back fight to get ready for Andy Ruiz if you can get past Eddie, which I doubt. But anyway, no
Oh,
disrespect
my
to you,
God.
man.
No, but
That's what we're gonna
Wait, what
go
about my
right there.
Instagram?
Oh,
Bill Bird Billy, come follow me.
Bill
check me
Bird
out.
Billy. Now he's probably gonna change it to what? Billy the Barbarian?
Yeah, Bill Bird Billy, and maybe Bill Bird the Barbarian.
Huh?
Bill Burr's name.
yeah.
And then use it as your Instagram handle.
Bill Bird Billy.
Yeah, Bill Bird Billy. Check me out.
We're gonna
Have
probably
a
gonna
great
change.
summer.
We're probably gonna change that to Billy the Barbarian before this day's
Yes,
over. But anyway, for now,
that sounds better.
I gotta talk to my people first.
yeah, you know what I mean, it's the PR team. See what they say, but appreciate you guys tuning in, man. If not, we could talk for hours, man. So, but we'll save it for the next podcast. Coach Anthony Boxing Podcast, Boxing Like.